G'day, welcome back to another video. In this video I'll show you how to shorten your servo wires. I've had a few questions over the time. How do you shorten your servo wires, this and that, or wires in general? But yeah, pretty much most of the motor wires and stuff are pretty simple. Cut them and either put a new plug on it or solder it to the motor. But the servo wire is a little bit more technical. Anyway, what I use is this JST-SH crimper that I got from HobbyKing, and yeah, it works great. Now I only use the jaw at the back. Seems fine for me. That's all I need. I'll leave a link in the description where you can get a set of these at HobbyKing, of course. They always seem to be on back order, but have a look around on eBay. Everyone's making them now. So there's quite a few options out there, and they're only about $20. Anyway, we'll bring the camera in and have a look and you know, show you up close, show you what everything does on it, and then we'll get on to crimping a plug. Now I've got just a random servo here that I had sitting around, and as you can see, the wire's quite long. In case of like the top force, things like that, the receiver normally sits right behind it, about here or about there, so you don't want all this excess wire. So anyway, basically just grab your side cutters and hack it off wherever you need it. So if your receiver's off to the side just here, yeah, just make a bit of a loop there or something, cut it off right there. Too easy. And you just got to remember, keep a little bit of slack, so in case you need to unplug it and things like that, you don't want it, you know, stretched tight. That'd be not real good. But for the sake of this video, because you got to have the camera up real close and all that, I'm not going to use a servo. There's a wire I cut off earlier off another servo. I'll just put another plug on the end of that, and you know, just to make it easier, because you don't have to wrestle with the servo and you guys will be able to see everything up close. So we'll bring the camera in and have a bit of a gander. Alrighty, first off we'll have a bit of a look at the crimping tool. As you can see here, there's an adjustment right there. Now what that does, that's to adjust the crimping pressure. I've never needed to use it yet, but you take that little screw out and you can rotate it to, you know, positive or negative, and yeah, increase the crimping pressure. Yeah, as I say, I've never had to use that yet. Now it works like a ratchet system. Hear the click? There you go. So when you squeeze it, it'll hold the position. You can let go of it and it won't open. Once you get all the way to the top, it'll open. Now if you start crimping, you make a mistake and you want to open it up, there's this little lever in the back here. So you can just push that forward and it opens up. Now looking at the jaws, you'll notice there's two steps in each jaw. So we've got a raised one at the front closest to us, and a shallow one at the back. The idea of that is one of them crimps the insulation and one crimps the bare wire. So of course, because of that, you can only put the connector in one way. So looking at our plugs and stuff, there's our donor wire, and we've got a JR plug there and our JST connectors. They go in the JR or Futaba plug, whatever they're sold as at the time. I've seen them sold as both, so yeah, just search for JR plugs if you're looking on eBay. And as you can see there, I like to buy in bulk. Alrighty, so let's get into it. We've got our crimpers there and a pair of side cutters. That's all we're going to need. And we've got the wire we're going to be working on. As you saw earlier, it's already got a plug on the other end. But the first thing you want to do is separate the wires at the end, about 10 to 15 mil. I like 10 mil, probably, you know, it looks a lot neater. The longer you strip it back, the easier it is though. Anyway, so we just strip the ends about 3 millimeters. Seems about the sweet spot for me, I think. So we get all them done. And I just twist up the wires a bit in case there's any frayed ones hanging out. Usually not that much of a problem. But yeah, when you're going to put the wire in, you know, you got to have your best eyeballs on. So it pays not to have any frayed bits. Now little plugs just come on a strip like this and we can just pull them off. If you're real excited, you could cut them off, but I don't see any point in that. Now with our crimper, we just put the little plug in there, Try and get it facing up, as upright as possible, and with the back of it flush with the face that's facing us. Then give it a squeeze so it clicks just once, like that. Now your terminal's locked in there, so grab your wire and stick it in, and put it in just so the insulation goes just past the first set of crimping arms, if you like, the little tabs, and squeeze it all the way. So there's our first one. It's not perfect. I should have actually stuck it in a little bit more. It'll work fine, but I'm not very happy with it. As you can see, it should have come forward a bit more. I'll show you here what I mean. So we've got our little terminal, got our bared wire. Now you'll see here there's two areas that crimp. The first one crimps the insulation, and the second area there just crimps the bare wire. So when you stick the wire in, you want to get the insulation all the way through the first set of tabs. Just like that, that'll be perfect. So moving on, I'll get onto the red wire. So it's a bit hard to see, I'm zoomed way in there, but I'm putting the little plug into the crimper, and here we go with the wire. And give it a squeeze. And that's our red one done. That's looking better. I'm liking that one. That looks good. Now onto the black one. Same thing, poke him in there. Once it's all set up nicely, squeeze away. Now sometimes they jam in the top a little bit there, so pull it down with your finger. Don't just go tugging on the wire. And there it is, it's our black one. So all three of them are done. The white one does look a little bit longer though, because I didn't do that one very well. Now time to put the little plugs into the socket, and you can see on one side they're sort of flat, and the other side it's got all like the barb type setup that locks them in. Excuse my blurry camera work there. But yeah, basically set them all up so they're all facing the right way, with the barbed sort of area facing up. And grab your little plug, make sure he's going in the right way. Now on the socket part, you'll notice these three little tabs that correspond with the plugs, so they can lock into each other. Make sure that's the right way up. Now because the wires are all the same length and only separated a little bit at the ends, you want to keep them all together and put them all three in at once. Otherwise you run the risk of separating the wires and it looks untidy. And when you push it in, you'll hear the little click from each one. There you go, they're all locked in. So I like to give them a bit of a wiggle and a bit of a pull, and yeah, make sure they don't come out. Yeah, I'm not real happy with that white one. If I was doing that on an actual servo, I'd cut it off and do it again. But this was just to show you guys. Well, there he is. There's our Shorten plug. So it's a female at both ends, kind of useless, but I only use this one just for a demonstration. I guess I can cut that and solder it into two servos. So that's it. That's our crimping tool for the JST connectors. Magnificent product. So that's it for our shortening wires video. Well, servo wires anyway. I'm thinking that's the most important. Servos and ESC signal wires. All the others are pretty simple. Battery lead, cut the lead a bit shorter, put a new plug on. And the motor wires, cut them shorter and solder them to the motor. Alrighty, well that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumb up. If you're new here, subscribe, that'd be awesome. And catch you next time.